Hi, my name is Colleen Smith, and I'm inviting you to join me today for Mindfulness in 5 minutes or less. I will be screen sharing a PowerPoint for a few minutes, and then we will practice together. Like I said, my name is Colleen Smith. I was an elementary school counselor before I became a kids yoga teacher. I have been teaching children's yoga and mindfulness for 20 years. And in 2014, I started my business in my area called Be Live Yoga. I became a teacher trainer for ChildLight Education Company, and we offer a variety of live Zoom trainings and workshops, self-paced recorded trainings, and recorded classes for people of all ages. You can check us out at www.childlighteducationcompany.com. Let's start with a definition of mindfulness. At ChildLight, we like to offer the following definition. Mindfulness is paying attention to the present moment with kindness and curiosity. Mindfulness is a practice. It's not something that we get the very first time we try it. It's something that we keep practicing, and then we can start to notice more of the benefits. There are many ways that we can practice being mindful. And in this workshop, we are going to focus on ways that we can bring mindfulness to the children in 5 minutes or less. These fun and simple exercises will provide you with ways to practice mindfulness with the children you work with anytime during the day. And when practiced regularly, mindful breaks can help students learn to recognize their emotions and to self-regulate, which can then lead to calmer and more productive school days and classrooms. Today, we will be exploring the following mindfulness exercises. We will look at some mindful movement, some mindful breath, mindful activities, mindful rest, and I will be recommending some mindful music. I would encourage you to take notes as we practice. So let's get started. You'll just want a comfortable area around you. You can sit. I'm just going to move back a little bit, but you can be seated in a chair or on the floor. And the first practice we're going to start for mindful movement can be done standing. We can call it standing or seated warm-ups. We're going to do it seated today just for ease of recording. So I would invite you to sit straight and tall with a tall spine. To get kids to do this, I will often say, imagine there's a string on top of your head that goes up to the ceiling so that we sit straight and tall. And then we can bring our arms, we can bring our arms all the way out and up to the top. Take a deep breath in and breathe out as we lower our arms. Bring our arms all the way up, deep breath in. And tip to one side gently as we breathe out. We can call this crescent moon. For younger kids, I call it banana pose. Arms come up, deep breath in, and tip to the other side and breathe out. We can try that again. Arms up, deep breath in. Tip to the side and breathe out. Getting a nice stretch on your side body. Arms up, deep breath in. And tip to the other side as you breathe out. Nice job. Come on back to center. Arms up, deep breath in. And breathe out as you bring your arms back down by your side. We're going to do a little twist. We call this washing machine. If you're standing up, you might have a little bit more space. And I usually tell the kids it's okay if their hands tap their back body. We don't want them to be hitting their neighbors with their hands, so we make sure that our arms are not way out. They're down by our body. And we can make a little sound. Kids love to make sounds. We can go ch, 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 or you can create your own sound. This is a great way to get rid of extra energy, to move that through the body. It can be very helpful with anxiety. And it can also, you can talk about just getting, kind of washing away feelings that might be making them feel not negative during the day. Maybe they're just not having a good moment and they can shake this away. And sometimes that can really bring a positive energy to them. and they really enjoy washing machine. I do that with kids of all ages all the time. From here, we can do our flying bird breath. We started with that a little bit. We can do this standing or seated. We're going to stay seated for right now. You're welcome to stand if you would like. Arms come all the way up. We clap at the top, take a deep breath in, and breathe out as our wings from our flying bird come back down by our side. Arms all the way up, deep breath in, and back down by our side as we breathe out. To make this more challenging for older kids, I have them bring their arms all the way up as they take their big breath in, then push their hands, put their hands back to back as they push down their hands and breathe out. So it becomes a little bit of some coordination. Arms up, deep breath in, back to back, push down your hands as you breathe out. Let's try that one more time. Arms up, deep breath in, and back to back. Nice. If this is inaccessible to some of your students, you could bring your arms up straight, deep breath in, flip your palms at the top, push down and breathe out. That might make it a little bit more accessible for some students. And the last one of our mindful movement section is seated cat and cow. We're going to sit up straight and tall, keeping that tall spine. Our hands are on our knees. And imagine that somebody is pulling your back so that your belly is sinking in, bringing your chin down to your chest, letting you kind of make an arch in your back. And then sit up straight and tall and reach your heart forward, bringing your chin up just a little bit, shoulders back. Now let's add the breath. Deep breath in here. Exhale as you curve and round your back, bringing your chin to your chest. Inhale as we reach our heart forward and our chin comes up. And exhale as we round our back, chin comes to chest. And then we can sit up straight and tall. For our mindful breath, I would like to show you a breathing ball. The scientific name for this is a Hoberman sphere. Kids love this. I use this every day. And we use this to talk about our breath. We talk about wanting to be able to take nice, calm, deep breaths in so that when somebody says to us, take a deep breath and calm down, we know how to do that. I'll often say to kids, this is what our breathing can look like when we're upset or excited, and it looks cool, but that doesn't feel good in our bodies. We might feel a headache or a stomach ache. We might have butterflies in our stomach. And so when we do want to calm down, we want to be able to do our nice, slow, deep breathing. So I would invite you to imagine that strings on top of your head again. Put one hand on your belly, one hand on your chest. For the littlest kids at 3s and 4s, I will tell them this is your neck, slide down to the flat part, that's your chest. Take a deep breath in, feel your belly move, feel your chest rise and move, and then breathe it all out. Keep your hands right there. As my ball gets big, take a nice deep breath in. As my ball gets small, breathe out nice and slow. Excellent. Let's do another one. Nice deep breath in and out. So the breathing ball is a nice prop. You can certainly do belly breath without it and just keep your hands here, letting them start to feel their belly move and their chest rise as they're breathing and bringing some breath awareness to them. One of my favorites is turkey breathing. Today I did it with a group and we called it starfish breathing. You can call it starfish, you can call it star. This is what I call a fan favorite. Everybody loves this. I've had high school students do this. So we're going to make our hand nice and big, like a turkey. This is where it came from for me, turkey breathing. There's the body of your turkey. Here's your turkey head. These are the feathers. Take another finger. We're going to trace up our thumb as we take a deep breath in. Slide down your thumb as you breathe out. Deep breath in. and out. I will invite kids to breathe in through their nose if they're not stuffy. They're stuffy a lot of the time. Deep breath in and out, encouraging the kids to go nice and slow. Sometimes they want to speed through it. We have 2 fingers left. Deep breath in and out. Last finger. Deep breath in and out. I teach it this way, but I will tell kids they can do this flat on their lap. They could do it under their desk, wherever they want to. They could trace their hands and then trace the turkey outline wherever they want to. And it's a great practice for kids to bring breathing into their everyday. We can also offer circle breath, which can become moon breath or sunshine breath, or I've even used it as rainbow, depending on the theme that we're talking about that day. So sit up straight and tall. We'll bring our arms all the way up to the top to make a circle. Deep breath in and out. And deep breath in and out. Similar to flying bird breath. Deep breath in and out. But we're concentrating on making a circle shape. And it's just a nice way to bring in another breath into a mindfulness practice. For activities, I have a show and tell for you. The first one we're going to start with is a mandala. You can get these off of the internet. I just Googled a little while ago, mandala coloring pages. They're free. You can print them for your students and play some nice gentle music, maybe some of the songs that I'll recommend at the end, and just let them color quietly. It can become a very nice, soothing activity for kids to do. We saw a lot of coloring books come out in the last couple of years for adults and children. And this is a little bit of a simple one, but you can find them even more simple, and you can find them more ornate too and complex for your older students. They could work on the whole thing. They can work on it in parts. You can incorporate it into your day as a nice rest time. So mandalas are really a nice activity to do, especially if you're trying to bring the energy down in your room or with the students that you're working with. Glitter bottles. You can find recipes for these online. Mine is just a plastic bottle. I made this a long time ago, and it has glitter glue in it, the cheap kind, not the expensive kind of glitter glue, and then 2 different kinds of glitter. And it's a plastic water bottle. And you can find those, like I said, online. And this is how I like to use them for my classes and students. We shake it up, and I tell them to watch quietly until they think most of the blue is at the bottom. When most of the blue is at the bottom, I ask them to raise their hand. I've also just used this in a circle with them on their bellies, kind of resting their chin on their chest or on their hands, and just watching. They love this activity. They find it very soothing. It's engaging, but it's calming. I highly recommend a glitter bottle, and it could be an activity that you make with the kids that you are working with. You could make one, or they could each make one of their own to take home with them, and then they can use it. I have seen kids who are very upset or just can't get it together, can't calm down. And as soon as we start the glitter bottle, they really start to be engaged and to watch. So glitter bottle is an excellent activity to have for kids. Let me put that one. Another one that I really enjoy is candle gazing. These are little tea light candles. They're color changing, battery operated tea lights. And I'm going to show you a bigger one in a minute, but they do change color. So kids can find this very engaging. You could put one on each child's desk. You could put one in the center of a circle and have them watch. It is kind of small. So if I'm doing it in the center of a circle, or if I'm up at the front of a room, I like to use something a little bit bigger. This is a little unicorn, color changing unicorn I found online. Once again, I'm not sure if you can see the colors, but it's changing from blue to red to purple and green. And the kids love this. I usually give them a chance, especially the preschoolers, I give them a chance to say the color as it's going through. We do one round of that, then we watch quietly. And then I'll pick a color and I'll say, when it gets to red again, you can lay down. You could say you could put your head down, or you could just move on to the next activity. So something color changing that is a light up can be very soothing too. It engages them and it's very calming. And then we have chime listening, which I'm not going to actually be able to hit the chime. It doesn't work well. You wouldn't be able to hear it. We've discovered that over the last couple of years. But this is a chime. Many people in schools already have one. They use it as an attention getter. What I do is I use this to do chime listening so that I hit the chime and I ask the kids to be very quiet and still and listen. And I will say, when you stop hearing it, or when you can't hear it anymore, raise your hand. I work with a lot of preschoolers, and if I say, raise your hand when you can't hear it anymore, they immediately raise their hand. So I save that for the last part of the instruction. We work on this a lot throughout the year. It takes them a long time to be able to do that, but it's a really great way for them to not call out. For practicing self-regulation. They're not calling out, they're trying to listen and figure out when to raise their hand. Sometimes I will invite them to close their eyes if they would like to, and kind of experiment and see, does that help you focus more? So chime listening can be a really nice activity as well. And then we can talk about mindful rest, which is one of my favorites. I'm going to show you a little stuffed animal and a little rubber duck. It does not squeak. If you choose to use little rubber animals for this activity, just make sure that they don't squeak. We use these we call these breathing buddies. We use this for rest time. We would invite children to lay on their backs if that was accessible in wherever you're teaching and working, and put it right about on their belly button. And then their job is to lay really still and breathe. And when they breathe and they work on that belly breathing that we talked about earlier, their breathing buddy gets a little ride. And there's a little breathing buddy again. It can take some time for them to be able to not touch them. So this is a practice. Like I said, mindfulness is a practice. They don't leave it alone the first time. They're excited about this. They want to squish these. They want to hold these and play around with the little floppy guys. But it's something that they can practice over time, giving them a ride, encouraging them to lay still, let their bodies rest, and asking them to find a place to look at above them or to close their eyes if they're comfortable doing that. If you don't have the ability to have the students lay down, they could sit, they could have their hands in their lap, they could close their eyes, they could lay their heads on the desk or on the table, and they could rest in that way as well. Maybe not with the breathing buddies, but certainly for the next part, which is to do a visualization with them. If they are on their backs, what we could also offer, and I do this for kids who are very fidgety and having trouble resting and letting their bodies rest, we will do give yourself a hug. So we cross the midline, put our hands on our shoulders. This is great to be done laying down, but you could also do this seated at a desk. And then we cross the ankles. You can add the crossed ankles part too. You're crossing the midline. This is very soothing. It's very grounding. It's the same kind of idea as the weighted blankets that have become very popular. And then when they're like this, they can just take some deep breaths. If you see that somebody is tending to hunch their shoulders up, this is also a nice reminder. Pull your shoulders back down. Let your shoulders come away from your ears. So that can be a nice way to rest. Whichever way they're resting, we can offer some visualization. We can offer some music. I would like to offer you a visualization story right now called Muscle Squeeze. So I will invite you to get comfortable. If you want to lay down, you can do that. If you want to just sit with your feet on the floor, wherever you are, you can do that as well. If you're sitting, sit with a nice tall spine like we talked about before. You close your eyes or find a spot to look at. Take a slow, deep breath in and let it out nice and slow. Curl up your toes and squeeze your feet. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Now let them rest. Squeeze and tighten the muscles in your legs. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Now let them rest. Squeeze your middle, your back and your belly. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Now let it rest. Make balls out of your hands. Curl your fingers in, make balls. Bring your arms up off the floor or away from your side, tight and strong, like Superman. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Now let them rest gently by your side. Loosen your fingers. Rest your fingers. Bring your shoulders up to your ears and tighten your shoulders and neck. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Now let them rest. Bring your shoulders down away from your ears. Scrunch up your face like you sucked on a lemon or something very sour. There's a lot of muscles in your face. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Now let them rest. Let them soften. Soften your forehead. Move your tongue around in your mouth a couple of times to loosen your jaw, unclench your jaw. Now tighten your whole body from your toes to the top of your head. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Let it rest. Let everything soften. Make sure nothing feels tensed. Make sure your body feels rested. And lie still and take a few slow, deep breaths in and out. And notice how you feel. Take another deep breath in. Let it out. Start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Blink your eyes if they were closed. Reach your arms up over your head for a full body stretch from the tips of your fingers to the tips of your toes. If you're laying on your back, hug your knees into your chest. Roll over to one side and take a breath. And slowly and gently come back up to your seat. Muscle squeeze is a great activity to help children understand what their muscles feel like when they're tense and when they're resting. So it can be a very nice, mindful activity to pay attention to your body. It's a great way to rest and to end a practice. You can do any of these that we have gone through on their own as just a standalone activity, mindfulness practice. You can also group them. You could pick a breath, you could pick an activity, you could pick a mindful movement and a breath and pair them up any way that you like. They can mix and match for whatever you might be wanting to try or what you might need. I have included in the PowerPoint some of the music that I offer or that I really like. I'm going to come up here and show you that now. These are a few of my favorites. One note about music is that any kind of instrumental music can be very soothing. Since it doesn't have words, it can also be a nice backdrop for any visualization that you might be offering or any story that you might be reading to the kids. I'm going to show you the music. Not really sure why I did that. Okay, here's some mindful music. Some of my favorites are the Kindness Mantra by Kira Willie. The kids love that. There are words to that one. River Flows in You by Yuruma and Diaspora by the Calm Blue Sea are two of my favorite instrumental songs. So we have gone through all of the mindfulness activities here. Make a note of your favorites. You can try them today. You can try them tomorrow. You are ready to go. Here's some additional information. My name again, my ChildLight email, my BeLive Yoga email is here as well. You can find ChildLight on Instagram and at Facebook. And you can also find me on Instagram, BeLive YogaKids. There is our website information again. And I am leading upcoming trainings for ChildLight, including yoga and mindfulness for children, yoga for teens and tweens, and yoga and mindfulness in the preschool classroom. I mentioned earlier that we offer recorded self-paced trainings. And if you are interested in taking one of those, you can use the following code. This is my code, CS10, to get 10% off. I thank you very much for joining me. I hope that you enjoy sharing mindfulness with your kids and have fun, explore, see what you like, see what works. It's all trial and error, but the more that you practice, the more that the kids will enjoy it, the more you will benefit from it. And I think that you will see a lot of benefits in your class or with your children as well. Thank you so much.